Yeah, Congressman Doggett, we're just here to talk about the redistricting map that's been proposed and what it'll do from your perspective. What's your take on this proposed map, the Hunter map, I think?
Well, Trump has really taken a hatchet to Austin and to all of Texas. It would leave Austin with, though I would continue to have 2/3 of the district that I represent today, it would have many of our neighbors in districts that are with Congress members from San Angelo, from Victoria, from Waco, and this is not accessible, accountable representation, all done just to keep Trump in power.
Yeah, you talk about that power grab, I think is what you called it in a statement, and it's going to effectively eliminate Greg Casar's district, and I'll be speaking with him in about an hour or so. It kind of feels like it's going to pit you two up against each other, because I imagine that he doesn't, he still wants to represent, his constituents as well, and you want to represent constituents as well. How do you view that? They're trying to gain more Republican seats, but it's kind of like pitting the Democrats against one
Well,
another.
there's no doubt they want to divide us, and I think it's really important we remain united and do all we can. There are many what ifs about what if that, what if this. The only what if that really matters is what happens to our country if President Trump is allowed to have this power grab and maintain a stranglehold over the House of Representatives. So I hope we'll all be working together to find a way to defeat this plan so that we never face some of those what ifs.
You mentioned some of those other districts, but I imagine Austin splitting this district up or making it what it is, when Austin, the city itself, is kind of like what they call that blueberry, in the state. How does it, the state legislature's magnifying glass on this city, how does it feel that they look at Austin, and does it maybe feel like they're trying to punish the city and its representatives at every single level?
Traditionally, that's been true, that we've had difficulties with the state legislature, but this is really different. This is not a state legislature plan or even a Greg Abbott plan, who's been very adverse to the city of Austin. This is a Donald Trump plan. He came up with a scheme, and it's a scheme that if he can win here in Texas, we will see it spread across the country, to Missouri, to Indiana, to Florida, to one state after another, where in order to maintain his grip on power and assure his officials cannot be subpoenaed by the House of Representatives, he will be trying to eliminate Democrats and replace them with Republicans. It's kind of his way of fulfilling what he told the group last year about, if you elect me, you won't have to vote again. Well, he's trying to change and have him pick the members rather than the voters.
You talk about the voters, the impact to the voters, to the people. A lot of people view this as gerrymandering and racially dividing up the population. How do you view this attack, or how do you view what this is going to do to the voters?
Right. Well, the whole stated excuse for doing this was a letter from the Justice Department claiming a racial gerrymander in Houston and Dallas. Austin was not even mentioned. I think that while race is a factor, their whole focus is just finding Trump those 5 people that he said he wanted. I think that Texas is underrepresented by Democrats presently. If we got our fair share of the vote, we would have more representatives, not fewer. And certainly it's vital that we have members that represent all communities, including communities of color. We have some great members, and I'm concerned not only about its impact on Austin, but about colleagues who are doing a very good job in South Texas, in Fort Worth, Dallas, and in Houston.
Does it feel like they are drowning out the voices of those people who live in these areas, who are of those racial minorities, just to find those, like you said, those five seats?
Well, they are drowning it out, but they're drowning out the voices of people in the parts of Austin who would prefer not to be represented from San Angelo or Victoria or Waco, in districts that they will have very little say about the kind of representation and whether their values are reflected. So yes, I think race is a big factor, but I think all races, all communities around Central Texas will be harmed by what Trump is imposing. I think there's still a chance to stop or at least significantly change this plan in the legislature. And that's why it's really important that we not be divided and that we work together. Republicans have tried to eliminate me through redistricting for years. They failed. And I think if we stick together, they will fail again.
Yeah, you talk about ways to fight this, and one of the ways that the Democrats in the state legislature have been, thinking about this is through breaking quorum. I know that's been a big conversation among all Texas Democrats, from the state legislature on up to the Congress. Is there another way to fight this? Is breaking quorum maybe the only way, the correct way to do this? I understand back in 2021 this was a point of action as well, back when this was a conversation.
I have to leave the final judgment to the state legislators as to how they handle this, but this is an extraordinary move that Trump is making, and it requires extraordinary action. And so they have to have everything on the table, including not coming to the Capitol if that's what it takes to stop this plan. It's pretty amazing that at hearings all over the state, hundreds, indeed in Houston, 1,000 people showed up. No one there really to testify in favor of this plan. The House redistricting chair saying he doesn't really know why they're there. Well, we know, because Trump told them to do this. And all of these hearings without them presenting this plan for public comment. So they really weren't hearing, they were having a fake government proceeding to rationalize what they're doing, but not really giving people a say. And that's what will happen under the plan itself. If you have a problem with Social Security or a tax or a small business matter, and you have to call San Angelo or Victoria to get an answer, that's not going to be accessible government that you deserve.
How do you view, this is kind of related but not related to this. I just am curious, just from watching the proceedings that happened at the state legislature and in Washington, how do you view actions from Republicans when it just feels like they're not, the public, whether it's through polls or making their voices heard vocally, being against something, but then Republicans, whether it's at the state legislature or in Congress, doing the actions of other things, or not hearing people's comments or ignoring them. How do you view that? Do you view that as an attack on democracy? Do you view that as just people just not wanting to, put their own jobs in danger just to follow the party line?
Well, there's no doubt that the first group of people in America that were intimidated by Donald Trump are not immigrants or poor people. They're our Republican colleagues and Republican colleagues at the Texas legislature. They are abiding by everything that he advances. It doesn't make any difference how many thousands of people come out. It doesn't make any difference if they don't know the rationale for their own plan has happened here. And I think we'll see more of them saying, I don't do town halls. I don't answer questions except to respond to Donald Trump. And that does go to the very heart of our democracy. It's why it's so important that this plan be blocked and that we are permitted to have people have their voice heard in a way that might be effective, that might really get them accountable representatives.
I think that's all I have.
Okay.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
No, I think those are the main points. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching. Please hit the subscribe button and get the latest news by downloading the CBS Austin News app.